Good day, folks. Thank you for joining us here at Your Health. Today we will be talking to as many callers as we can possibly get on the phone today. It'll be interesting. We're going to try to help as many as possible. I hope you're in that group. But first, let's go to our news. Let's see what's happening in the health world. Repeating familiar stories to coma patients helps them recover faster. New research from Northwestern University, published in Neurorehabilitation and Neural Repair, evaluated 15 traumatic closed head injury patients' response to being told familiar stories by their family members. They found when coma patients heard familiar family stories 4 times a day for 6 weeks, they recovered significantly faster than those who did not hear the stories. Every 5 seconds, an American experiences traumatic brain injury, and many of these suffer coma, an unconscious condition where the patient cannot open their eyes. Isn't this one amazing? You know, I think we've all heard that talking to coma patients helps them to recover, but this study is among the first to prove it. The results show reciting familiar stories to coma patients improves their outcome. In this study, family members recorded stories known to the coma patient. Then the stories were played back through headphones 4 times a day for 6 weeks. While this was going on, the researchers did studies to analyze brain activity and the overall health of the coma patient. They found the familiar stories stimulated areas of the brain responsible for storing long-term memories, and this stimulation in turn helped to trigger the first signs of awareness and return to consciousness. The process of recording familiar family stories also gives family members hope and something to do that will help their loved one. Familiar family stories used in this study include tales of past vacations, weddings, birthdays, and other happy events. The coma patients, upon awakening, recalled that they had been told these stories and state the stories helped their brains reconnect with their surroundings, which over time helped them awaken from their coma. Eating walnuts may improve your memory. Researchers from the University of California at Los Angeles conducted a cross-sectional study of subjects up to 90 years of age from the NHANES Health and Nutrition Databank. They found the subjects that ate walnuts regularly showed better scores on a series of 6 cognitive tests. Well, imagine that. Eating a little less than a handful of walnuts a day will help you to preserve brain function with aging. Those who regularly ate walnuts had better memory, better concentration, and information processing speed, among other health benefits. Walnuts' health benefits held true regardless of age, gender, or ethnicity. The researchers state walnuts contain a variety of nutrients responsible for their brain-protecting benefits, including essential omega-3 and 6 fatty acids, vitamin E, and other plant-based antioxidants, along with magnesium and a wide variety of vitamins and minerals. The health benefits of walnuts are not unique among nuts. Over the course of the past 10 years, we've reported similar study results conducted on pecans, almonds, pistachios, Brazil nuts, cashews, hazelnuts, and a variety of seeds. We've also learned from past studies those who eat nuts and seeds regularly have lower cholesterol levels, and they are less likely to be overweight. Bottom line, the tree nuts and plant seeds are among the healthiest foods you can eat, and it is the wise person who includes them in their daily diet. Most consumers believe healthy foods always taste bad. New research published in the Journal of Public Policy and Marketing finds the vast majority of consumers base their food choices on 2 flawed beliefs. First, they believe that if a food is healthy, it must taste bad. And second, the taste of a food trumps all other qualities, including nutrient content, when deciding whether to eat that food or not. Participants in this study were offered a variety of yogurts that differed in sugar and fat content. They found the subjects consistently chose the yogurts that tasted good due to their high fat and sugar content, even if they knew the other low sugar and fat yogurt options were healthier. Well, folks, this is a problem, isn't it? If we humans choose food items based solely on their taste, then we are doomed to a life riddled with disease and disability. This study shows that most of us make our food choices based primarily on food taste. Other studies have confirmed this finding. However, recently another study found that when we are in a pattern of eating junk and fast food frequently, junk foods become the only foods that taste good. And this current study confirms that finding. Now, our past study, however, found if the fast and junk food eater makes a change to healthy foods, over time the appeal of unhealthy foods diminishes and the taste and appeal of healthy foods increases. Simply stated, if unhealthy foods are the only foods that taste good to you, then you are eating far too much junk food. Make a change to a healthy diet, and with time, nutritious foods will taste good as well. Well, today on Your Health, as promised, we will be taking your calls. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
And when we can't stay 6 feet from others, please, I'm begging you, wear a face covering.
Life Christian Broadcasting Network.
Life Today not only gives you the opportunity to be inspired by the fascinating guests and dynamic teaching, but also encourages you to help hurting people in devastating circumstances around the world. Weekdays on this channel as we share life together on Life Today.
Hey everybody, this is Pastor Phil from Paradise Point Ministries in the Cayman Islands, and we just want to say how honored we are to be a part of the Life Christian Broadcasting Network family. And we pray that you would prayerfully consider donating either a one-time contribution or a monthly contribution to help them out. Bring God's Word to a world that needs help. It doesn't matter how small or how large, it'll all go to the kingdom of God.
Welcome back, everyone. It is such a blessing to be with you today. And just as Dr. Becker promised, we're going to be taking calls the entire hour today. We want to talk to you. So if you've tried to get in before and you think, oh, I'll never get in, try today. I have a feeling you just might get through. The number's 800-635-2673. So be sure you put that on speed dial so you can be the first to call in. Well, let's start by going to New Hampshire and welcoming Patricia to the show. Hi, Patricia.
Hi, how are you?
Oh, we're doing great. How are you? What's on your mind?
Oh, well, about 2.5 years ago, I had terrible pain in my stomach. I let it go for a month, and so I ended up in the emergency room, and my blood pressure was sky high. So they did all kinds of tests, and they said I had diverticulitis for one thing, but then they told me I had polycythemia.
Okay.
And I was shocked because I never heard of it before.
Okay.
So they put me on acetate, I think it is, for the stomach, and 2 blood pressure pills, and then they put me on hydroxyurea vera.
Right, right.
And I had 3 of those at that time. Now I'm down to 1 a day, but my bones are starting to hurt. I just don't feel good on it. I've gone off of it a couple times, but then my blood shoots up again.
Patricia, did anybody talk to you about an alternative therapy for polycythemia?
No.
Okay. Polycythemia, poly means many, cythemia, cy means cell, and emia means blood. So you have many blood cells. You have too many blood cells. This thickens the blood. It can be a result of increased iron absorption. You get too much iron, you make too much blood. The most common person to get polycythemia is a heavy smoker. And so these people, they run at a low oxygen level, and the body senses this, and it tries to make more blood to compensate. Were you a smoker, Patricia?
I smoked maybe 5 years, but I quit years ago.
Years ago. Okay. Well, the most common treatment for polycythemia is bloodletting. Every month or two, you give some blood, And this is not blood that typically is used in the blood bank because they don't want that heavy, thick blood. But it's a highly effective treatment, and there's essentially no side effects. Of course, anytime you puncture a vein, you can have bruising and pain, and that's technically a side effect, but it's nothing near like the side effects of medicines that can be used to control the production of blood. No one's ever talked to you about that?
Well, I've had phlebotomies, is that what you call it?
Phlebotomy, yes.
I've had them within the last 2.5 years. I had 4 of them, and I asked her about it, and she said, oh, you can have a stroke having that.
Well, review the side effects of your list of medicines, and you're finding them prohibitive anyway, right? You don't like the effect of the medicines.
No.
I was trained to approach polycythemia as phlebotomy is the primary treatment, and we should always do that. And if there's a problem with phlebotomy, meaning removing blood, then we go look at other things like the medicines you're taking. Have you seen the type of doctor that specializes in blood problems is a oncologist, hematologist. The cancer doctors and the blood doctor, they're the same. Have you seen one of these as a specialty consultation?
Well, right now I'm in the oncology center.
Okay, so this is who has been treating you?
Right.
Well, perhaps you need a second opinion. There's nothing wrong with getting a second opinion. You can always go back to your original doctor if the secondary doctor confirms your suspicions. If your therapy is confirmed, what's the problem? Look at it this way. The medicines, any medication that inhibits the production of blood will, by its very nature, inhibit the replacement of old worn-out cells. Your bone marrow, starting with blood stem cells, as it were, hematopoietic cells, cells that can be dedicated into red blood cells or white blood cells, they're very much like stem cells. If you give a drug that inhibits that process, it will inhibit the normal replacement of worn-out heart cells, the normal replacement of stomach lining cells, the normal turnover of bone cells. And this is why you're having all these side effects. I mean, you tried these medicines. Perhaps a trial of consistent bloodletting, phlebotomy, it's worth the effort. What do you think? I want to hear what you think about that.
Well, would that infect my veins are shot from, so many blood tests, I have to go like every couple weeks. They test my blood. Right.
Well, I think it's worth the effort of getting a second opinion, and I'd go out of that group. You might have to travel to another town. You get a copy of your medical records, have them transferred electronically, however, and let another set of eyes go over your problem and talk to you about your options. Now, here's something that we can contribute to you from a nutritional standpoint. You would not want to take high-dose supplements that promote the production of blood. Now, let's say you'd been in a traumatic accident and you lost more than half of your blood. You would want to take things like iron, folic acid, B12, protein supplement, multiple vitamin C, things that help you make more blood. You don't want to do high dose of those types of supplements because you're already making too much blood. You don't want to do anything to make that worse. But you can take a reasonable low dose multiple vitamin and mineral to supply your basic needs. You still have nutritional needs. You just don't want to drive the mechanisms that would make you make more blood. Now, one of the things that I don't think you're being treated for or considered for. With polycythemia vera, you have this elevation of iron in your bloodstream. You have more iron, you absorb more iron. It's one of the triggers that makes you make more blood. And I think it's a really good idea to take a daily chelator such as curcumin to bind up some of that iron. I want to send you curcumin. You also have a history of Graves' disease, which is a thyroid disease. Royal jelly can reduce your antibodies that are made against your thyroid gland. I want to send you some Graves' disease. I want to send you magnesium. Magnesium will not overstimulate the production of blood, but it will help with your bone pain. This is one of the things that can help your system right now is magnesium. I want to give you the magnesium chelate for oral ingestion and magnesium gel to be applied topically. And also want to send you some vitamin D. Patricia, has anybody tested your vitamin D level? You live in New Hampshire, beautiful state, a great part of this of United States of America, but you're in the northern part. It would be highly unlikely that you have normal vitamin D levels. Has that been tested?
I think they tested that at the beginning, like 2.5 years ago. And I do take I think it's 2,000 milligrams a day.
2,000 international units?
Yeah.
I would go up to 3 or 4 depending on your size. Can you give me your weight? I apologize for asking, but I can give you a better dosage. Are you under?
I'm about 170.
Okay. Yeah, I would take 4,000 international units a day of vitamin D3. I also want to send you Foundations for Healing so you have a generalized holistic plan. Also, health and nutrition secrets that may save your life. Dr. Russell Blaylock writes quite a bit about the toxicity of iron, the ability of curcumin to help with your type of problem. And I strongly recommend you get a second opinion. If the second opinion confirms the therapies you're on, you haven't lost much. And you've gained peace of mind knowing you're doing the right thing. What do you think? I think we're on the right track now. What do you think, dear?
Yes, I do.
I think that's a good idea.
I appreciate your...
And if we can control the condition by bloodletting once a month, they take a little blood. It's simple. It's easy. You feel great when you do it. Man, I'm all for that. Let's go to our break. We'll be back in just a moment.
Well, welcome. Hello, I'm David Pawson. I'm a Bible teacher.
Jesus sat to teach. So why shouldn't I?
Many years ago, I was the pastor of a village church in England.
Now, I never thought I'd reach 90, but it looks as if the Lord has more work for me to do.
Somebody called me a cute, funny, old British gentleman. After an introduction like that, I can hardly wait to hear myself speak.
It's been a joy to serve you. God bless you all. Thank you for listening.
The book author of all authors, we have Ray Comfort. Thank you for joining us.
I like that.
That's enough of you. Now,
Jesus took the punishment we all deserve.
Here we are at the Kendrick Brothers' secret lair. This is where the magic happens. Show me that smile. Come on, guys. Don't waste another minute on your...
We're back, everyone, taking your calls the entire hour today. Let's go to North Carolina and welcome Crystal to the show. Hi, Crystal.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi, Dr. Becker. Hi, Cindy.
Hi.
I'm so happy that you received my call. I watch your show daily.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. What's on your mind, Crystal? How can we help you?
Okay. In 2013, I was diagnosed with stage 2 breast cancer.
Okay.
And I'm 41 years old, and the tumor they found was a HER2 new positive tumor with no node involvement. I had 10 rounds of chemotherapy, a single mastectomy, and 31 rounds of radiation that I completed last June.
Wow.
And since all of this, that's like my main issue, reason for calling. But I have another issue I want to mention too. Since all this, I had begun to experience intense itching all over my body that would last for a few seconds, only when I would get hot or sweat.
Right.
And I told my oncologist, and they didn't really know what to say about that. But and then too, I take blood pressure pills for high blood pressure. So I just wanted to see if you could lay out some kind of supplemental plan to keep my body.
Crystal, how did the course of chemotherapy and radiation go for you? Did you have a lot of complications? Did you tolerate it well? Tell me about that time.
Yes, I tolerated it well. I really had no problems.
Okay. And yet, when it was all done, you did start to develop problems, this intense body itch, yes?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, so you said it was HER receptor negative?
Positive.
Positive. So, okay. Epidermal growth factor, human epidermal growth factor receptor positive. So were there receptors for estrogen and progesterone?
No.
No.
That was negative.
So you have the tough type of breast cancer to treat, the one among the hardest to treat, correct? If there's no hormonal receptors, see, if there's a hormonal receptor, we can block that hormone and stall the growth of the cancer. But if there are no hormonal receptors on the tumors, we can't. Human epidermal growth factor is a protein that is in all of us. It is a fundamental driving force of cancers, not just skin cancers, but all cancers. So you have a scenario where we really have to be aggressive in our breast cancer treatment if we hope for a remission and long-term survival. And you are in remission. There's no more tumors that they can find, correct?
Correct.
Well, that is certainly a blessing. And I think what you're in a scenario here that happens to many cancer patients, not just breast cancer, but you've been pronounced cancer-free. At least we can't find any evidence. You've gone through the treatment. You should be happy. There should be great rejoicing and thankfulness, but you don't feel very good. You don't feel like you've beat the disease. We still have problems, and when you express those problems, often the nurses and doctors, it's kind of like, well, hey, you're still alive. You beat the disease. Why are you complaining? But to us cancer survivors, it isn't just about beating the disease. It's returning to life with vitality and the ability to engage. Am I right, Crystal?
Right, you're right.
Yeah, I've been there. So I know what you're talking about. What you need, dear, is a complete holistic program to build you up. Taking this antidote, that antidote, or not, that's not the answer. We need to build your system up. One of the things, for example, this program should contain some key ingredients, but it needs to be complete and holistic. Chemotherapy washes out vitamin D. Are you on vitamin D?
Yes, I am. Thanks to you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. How much are you taking?
Well, since November, for a month, I was taking 10,000 a day.
Good.
And then for a month, then I started taking 6,000. So I take
Good.
6,000 a day.
Just by doing that, you are 60% more likely to be alive in 5 years than if you weren't. Isn't that amazing? Breast cancer patients, vitamin D improves outcomes. 60% more likely to be alive at 5 years just from taking vitamin D. The typical breast cancer patient in America has a blood vitamin D level of 17 nanograms. Below 20 is deficient and catastrophic. Disease is sure to follow. The typical American breast cancer patient, 17. If we could just get women to take vitamin D, we could drop our breast cancer rates dramatically. I can't tell you how much. Only time will tell if we can do this. We know they will drop. The next thing, exercise, taking a walk. And I have to wonder how much of that is just vitamin D, because when we get outdoors, we get a little more vitamin D. So there are some key things, and I want to list those key things. But don't think it's just about these things. It's the complete program. Vitamin D is part of it. Magnesium. Chemotherapy and radiation both wash out magnesium. Magnesium is your spark plug of your entire metabolic cellular process. If you're low in magnesium, and your enzymes can't work properly, so magnesium is part of it. All the essential vitamins. Vitamin C is tremendous for the cancer patient. You know, vitamin C is one of our primary antioxidants. And you can have a fourth of an apple twice a week and you won't develop scurvy. But I think it's obvious to all of us who've studied physiology that that's not enough to promote total vital health. And so I recommend for the cancer patients to take however much it takes. You may need 50 grams a day. I know that sounds an extraordinarily high amount, but it has been studied and found to be entirely safe. No one has ever died from vitamin C, but many have died from chemotherapy. So we have what we call a vitamin C tolerance level. Above that level, you develop diarrhea and gas and bowel intolerance. When you're well, that's typically anywhere from 10 to 16 grams a day. I would want to divide that, say 4 grams, morning, noon, afternoon, and bedtime. That'd be 16 grams a day. When you're sick and fighting cancer, that tolerance dose can go up to 25 grams, 50 grams, 100 grams. Your body needs more vitamin C, so it becomes more tolerant of it. So I would at least take 2 grams 4 or 5 times a day of vitamin C. And you can use the low acid type, you can use the palmitate sustained release type. It doesn't really matter. It's all ascorbic acid. And I want you to feel comfortable and confident. Some of the best, most brilliant, forward-thinking physicians in the history of humanity recommend high-dose vitamin C, including some who have won Nobel Prizes. Okay? So this is not just a backwoods concept. This is cutting-edge stuff. Next, we want curcumin in the plan. Curcumin. This is a powerful antioxidant. It inhibits all 6 stages of cancer progression. It calms inflammation. It'll help with that bone pain. The magnesium will help that as well. How about some medicinal mushrooms or beta-glucan to support immune function? The beta-glucans in medicinal mushrooms or extracted supplement beta-glucan turns on the immune system. It does not cause autoimmune disease. Don't think that way. It modulates immune function and highly effective. Grapeseed extract with resveratrol, it's a must-have for breast cancer patients. A good multiple vitamin and mineral for all your B vitamins. Probiotics. It is the rare cancer patient who's been through chemotherapy and radiation who does not have a yeast problem, dysbiosis in the gut. We don't have time to go through all the things, but treat the yeast. The yeast inhibits the immune system. This is all about supporting immune function. I also want to send you Foundations for Healing, so you have a guidepost for, a complete holistic approach. It has a long list of dietary supplements that can nutritionally support the cancer patient, and one of the best nutrition-based cancer support books I've ever read is Dr. Patrick Quillen's Beating Cancer with Nutrition. I want to send you all of this. And keep in mind, it's the complete package with these key elements combined in it. Crystal, we don't have much time. How do you feel? Are we on the right track? Do you feel this is a good approach for you?
Yes, sir, and I thank you so much. Thank you very much, and I'm praying for you all.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for your support, because it's through your support that we're able to continue. Well, Crystal, you'll be in our hearts and our prayers. We have a break. We'll be right back.
Thank you.
Behold, days are coming, declares the Lord God, when I will send a famine on the land. Not a famine for bread or a thirst for water, but rather for hearing the words of the Lord. Therefore my people will go into exile, and their honorable men will be famished, and the multitudes parched with thirst due to a lack of knowledge. But you gave your good spirit to instruct them. Your manna you did not withhold from their mouths. And you gave them water for their thirst, for you are a compassionate God. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they shall be satisfied. For our Lord says, everyone who drinks of this water will thirst again, but whoever drinks of the water that I will give, they shall never thirst. For you see, the water that I will give them will become in them a bubbling well of water, springing up with eternal life. For our Lord declares, the afflicted and needy are seeking water, but there is none, and their tongues are parched with thirst. But I, the Lord, will answer them myself, as the God of Israel. I will not forsake them. They will not hunger or thirst, nor will the scorching heat of the sun strike them down. For he who has compassion on them will lead them, and will guide them to springs of living water. For our Lord says, I am the bread of life. He who comes to me will not hunger, and he who believes in me will never thirst. Quench your thirst with his living water.
So if we want to get back to school, back to work, back to worship, and back to overall health, there are things our country needs to do. We need to follow state and local guidelines, take extra precautions if at higher risk, wash our hands frequently, stay 6 feet from others when we can, and when we can't stay 6 feet from others, please, I'm begging you, wear a face covering. These small actions will make a big difference. So I'm asking you to say it with me, America. Coronavirus stops with me. You can learn more at coronavirus.gov.
Produced by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services at taxpayer expense.
I'm United States Surgeon General Jerome Adams, America's doctor. And all across our nation, we've taken steps together to slow the spread of coronavirus. Now we must continue to take personal responsibility to protect ourselves and our loved ones. Because even though not all of us risk a severe case of coronavirus, we all risk getting it and spreading it to others, maybe without even realizing that we're sick. So if we want to get back to school, back to work, back to worship, and back to overall health, there are things our country needs to do. We need to follow state and local guidelines, take extra precautions if at higher risk, wash our hands frequently, stay 6 feet from others when we can, and when we can't stay 6 feet from others, please, I'm begging you, wear a face covering. These small actions will make a big difference. So I'm asking you to say it with me, America. Coronavirus stops with me. You can learn more at coronavirus.gov.
Produced by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services at taxpayer expense.
We're back, everyone, taking your calls the entire hour. So if you haven't tried to call, now's a good time to pick up that phone and dial 800-635-2787. 2673. Well, let's go to Texas and welcome a neighbor, Betty. Hi there, Betty.
Hi there. How are y'all? Thank y'all so much for taking my call.
Oh, it's our pleasure, Betty. What's on your mind, dear?
Well, your programs helped me a lot, but I feel like I really need some help.
Okay.
About 6 years ago, I experienced a major trauma in my life.
Okay.
And about 3 years ago, I was diagnosed with diabetes, Hashimoto's, 3 nodules in my thyroid. And I started taking some of your supplements that you said would help the diabetic because I wouldn't take any medicine, and that lowered my numbers, so that helped a lot.
Oh, good. I'm glad to hear that.
Yes. About 6 months ago, they had to put me on the pellet therapies because my hormones, none of the medicines would work any longer. But what I'm finding is I don't have any mental clarity. My eyesight is going. I have absolutely no endurance, and I can't handle anything. It's like every time I walk out of my bedroom and go outside, the slightest little thing, I just want to live in my bed all the time, and I'm just so tired, and I'm just exhausted all the time.
So, Betty, you've been to the doctor, and your blood counts are okay. You're not anemic? No?
Correct. They said I'm not.
Okay, and your diabetes is under relatively good control?
Yes.
Okay. May I ask your age, Betty?
53.
Okay. Are you going through the change?
They really didn't say. They have told me I've been premenopausal for the last 15 years. But just now in the last few years is everything going haywire with my hormones.
Yeah. Well, you're at that age. You're at the median. 51 is the median. 51.5 is the most common age when women have menopause, when the periods stop. That's what menopause means, is over, it's done. And you're at 53, so it's highly likely that you're there. And you know what, Betty? Every one of your symptoms and problems, they are typical of the menopausal patient. Heart disease rates go up, bone pains, aches, mental clarity is lost. You know, we have been made with bodies that require hormones for proper function. And for a woman, when estrogen levels drop and progesterone begins to fluctuate and drop as well, things get very confusing and it's miserable. And antidote therapies, medications don't fix this. Now, if you were to take a shot of estrogen, you'd feel great for a month, maybe 3 weeks, depending on how much, if it's in oil, this type of thing, slow release. But by doing that, you'd increase your risk of cancer dramatically and heart disease as well. And so the experts say it's not worth the risk. So what else can we do? Well, let's do some other things, natural agents that don't increase your risk of disease but lower your risk of disease, because, Betty, I am certain that you will not make progress with this list of problems until we calm this hormonal problem you're in. Menopause is absolutely a part of your problem. There is a test you can do, ladies. If you feel this way and we're uncertain of what's going on, ask your doctor for the FSH-LH test. F, Frank, S, Stephen, H, hormone. FS is for follicle stimulating hormone, and LH is luteinizing hormone. When you hit menopause, those two hormones skyrocket. They go really high because the brain is trying to kick the ovaries back into gear. They're not working right. And it's menopausal. You lose ovarian function. And the brain senses that. It's very sensitive. So you say, doctor, give me that hormone test for menopause. He should know what that is. If he or she doesn't know what that is, you need to talk to another doctor. And that is a very sensitive and accurate test. If they're high, you're menopausal. Did you get that, Betty? It's important you understand that because we can prove the source of your problems.
Yes, I did. I'll ask them to
ask them about that.
Do that test.
Okay. Now, what I'm going to tell you to do and what I'm going to help you with and send to you won't interfere with that test because I'm not going to give you hormonal therapies. Okay? You'll still be able to do this. I want to give you our Healthy Balance for Her. This combination has helped so many women. It's quite remarkable. It includes the soy isoflavones, flaxseed oil for its lignans, wild yam, and indole-3 carbinol. And I think you would benefit from the progesterone cream. However, I would wait to use the progesterone cream until you've had the blood test done. But 1/4 to 1/2 a teaspoon of progesterone cream, 3 weeks on, 1 week off, and after menopause you can do it every single day. You can do that. It's going to help you dramatically. Other things to help the total system. See, once we help ease the hormonal complaints and calm that, then our antidotes, our other little therapies are going to have an effect. I would like to send you 2 books from Dr. Brownstein. These are excellent books. One's on why you need iodine and what you need to know about thyroid disease. This will help you understand your thyroid condition much better. Thyroid disease is complicated, and it's been my experience most doctors can't explain it very well. It's been a lifelong quest of mine to understand it better, and I can tell you Dr. Brownstein has an excellent understanding of it, and he has written it in layman terms so we can all get it better. And it will help you understand what's going on. Also, I want to send you royal jelly. I want to send you vitamin D. We all need more vitamin D, some curcumin, a good multiple vitamin and mineral. I want to send you a little more alpha-lipoic acid, grapeseed extract, milk thistle for your diabetes, and probiotics and oil of oregano to help with the yeast for the diabetic. Along with that will come Foundations for Healing, so you have a lot of reading to do, but this will set you on your path to vitality again. Hang in there. Your care package is coming. We have a break.
Thanks to your generosity, Marines have delivered Christmas to children in need since 1947.
We're back, everyone. Let's go to Michigan now and welcome Thomas to the show. Hi there, Thomas.
Hello,
Hi.
Cindy and Dr. Becker. I just want to say thank you for taking my call, and your show is a blessing, along with your paper that we get each month. And
Oh, thank you, Thomas. Thank you very much. I hope I can help you, brother. What's on your mind?
Well, I have a couple issues here. I just went in for a yearly physical, and let's see. My cholesterol has been what they consider high, and I have readings from back to 2010, but this last one was my LDL was 172.
Uh-huh.
And my HDL was 58, and the total was 245.
Okay, and that's not typical for you? It's increased recently?
Well, no, if anything, it's dropped down a little bit. 2013, my LDL was 169. In 2011, it was 184. In 2010, it was 192.
All right.
So
are you asking how do we deal with this naturally?
Well, yeah, and, do you consider that high?
It is a little high, but you have to keep in mind, Thomas, that elevated cholesterol is but one of many risk factors for heart disease. Have you had a heart attack or a stroke?
No,
or anything?
not.
Okay, are you a smoker?
No.
Are you diabetic?
No.
Are you morbidly obese?
No.
Do you exercise? Do you get up and move around?
Yes, sure do.
Yes? Do you have
I
a
eat
family?
healthy.
Do you have a family history of heart attack, and then particularly at a young age?
No.
No. Okay. Are you in a high-risk, high-stress type job?
No, I'm retired.
Okay. Well, I don't know why we're so concerned about it. Any other health conditions? Because other medical conditions can increase your risk of heart disease too. Anything else?
All right, I'm on Armour Thyroid right now. That's the only medication I'm on.
Okay. Okay, so tell me about that.
Okay, I take 60 milligrams a day.
That's a pretty low dose.
For 4 days, and then I take a double tab for 3 days.
Okay.
And
all right.
I did have a back injury in 2006.
Okay, slow down, Thomas. Hypothyroidism, low thyroid levels cause an elevation of cholesterol. Is it possible that we're not getting enough thyroid hormone? If we get you up to a normal level, it's possible that cholesterol will take care of itself. Yeah?
Okay.
Keep that in mind. You know, one of the problems in Michigan, in all of the great states around the Great Lakes, this area of our country is famous for low iodine levels. It has something to do, they suspect, with the glaciers. You know, the glaciers that formed the Great Lakes leached out the iodine and it went somewhere else. That's the theory. Who knows? But the fact remains, this is notoriously low iodine levels. It's called the goiter belt. Before iodine was put into salt, the goiter rate was astronomical in Michigan and Illinois and Wisconsin, you know, all the states around the Great Lakes. It's possible that your low thyroid level is purely due to low iodine intake. Remember, your thyroid hormone, the T4 that we secrete, has 4 iodine molecules. It's converted to T3, the most active thyroid hormone. If you don't have enough iodine in your system, you're not going to make that very effectively. Makes sense, doesn't it, Thomas?
Yeah.
And you can have your iodine level tested. I want to send you a book. We just mentioned it for the past caller. This is Dr. Brownstein Day. I want to send you both his books, one on thyroid disease and the second one is why you need to take iodine. He is in the great state of Michigan. If you connect with his writings and you get the impression, as I have, that this man knows his business, you could even go see him and he'll help you get this straightened out. See, this is the problem we see so often in America. I have this condition. It's not really controlled very well. As a side effect complication, I have this problem. Thomas has high cholesterol, and most doctors put him on a drug for that when they should be treating the original problem that's causing the whole ball of wax. Does that make sense to everybody? This is what we call polypharmacy. We take a drug to counteract the side effect of another drug, and before you know it, you're on so many medicines that nobody can get you straightened away. Now, I heard something about low platelet counts, correct?
Yes.
Take vitamin C, 2 grams every 4 hours. Your platelets will take care of itself. Pretty amazing. Vitamin C. I wish we had more time to talk about it. I want to send you some vitamin C. I want to send you the books by Dr. Brownstein. I want to send you the medicinal mushrooms because the beta-glucan in these mushrooms stimulates the bone marrow to make platelets. If we're low in platelets, you're subject to bleeding, and we don't want that. Treat yeast, Thomas. This low iodine, hypothyroidism, low platelets tells me you have gut dysbiosis, and if we control the yeast in your gut with oil of oregano, probiotics, a low sugar and starch diet, everything's going to start working better. I'm going to include a good multiple vitamin because your system is going to awaken when we get on the right track. Thomas, what do you think? Does this make sense?
That sounds good to me.
I think it's going to help you remarkably. Your care package is on the way. We have a break. We'll be right back, folks.
So if we want to get back to school, back to work, back to worship, and back to overall health, there are things our country needs to do. We need to follow state and local guidelines, take extra precautions if at higher risk, wash our hands frequently, stay 6 feet from others when we can, and when we can't stay 6 feet from others, please, I'm begging you, wear a face covering. These small actions will make a big difference. So I'm asking you to say it with me, America. Coronavirus stops with me. You can learn more at coronavirus.gov.
Produced by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services at taxpayer expense.
Your Health is brought to you by BioInnovations, trusted products for your health and well-being.
We're back. Let's go to Kentucky and welcome Jeannie to the show. Hi, Jeannie.
How are you?
Hello, Dr. Becker and Cindy. Good to hear from you.
Oh, it's our pleasure. How can we help?
Yes, got some questions for you here. My brother-in-law, Dillard Cole from Indiana, he's a faithful listener of you. He's 69 years old. He's very healthy, 69 years old. He has been diagnosed with a brain tumor.
Oh my, okay.
Yeah, and it is cancerous.
All right.
It's intracranial, pyogenic abscess,
Yes.
glioblastoma, malformant.
Okay.
And he starts his treatments of radiation and chemo pill on Monday. He wants to know what he can do
Well,
to
that's
help
a good
himself
call.
along.
Well, this gives us an opportunity, Jeannie, to underscore the importance of using complementary and holistic nutritional therapies, no matter what type of cancer, including brain tumors. Not every type of brain tumor can be operated on. Certainly, if you can cut it out, you want to do that. We have, to my way of thinking, irrefutable evidence that taking dietary supplements improves outcomes in a variety of cancers, including this type of cancer. I want to send you some noni juice. A study in University of Hawaii, noni juice helps to relieve suffering and improves quality of life in a cancer patient. Drink as much noni as possible. Noni also helps to reduce the side effects of radiation therapy. Curcumin. We've spoken quite a bit about curcumin. Take it before and after radiation therapy. Take it before and after chemotherapy. Studies show improved outcomes. Inositol and IP6. Inositol actually penetrates the blood-brain barrier and it helps improve immune function inside the brain, which is a remarkable feat. Grapeseed extract and resveratrol. Probiotics. Who would think that taking fermented dairy, culturing the gut with fermented dairy helps to shield the body from the side effects of radiation? But it does. It's a remarkable effect, and you can show it in studies, and it's reproducible. Vitamin C. We take vitamin C. I've taken more than I've ever taken before, and it is a tremendous thing. Cancer patients, please find your intestinal limiting dose of vitamin C. Start with 2 to 3 grams every 4 or 5 hours. Vitamin C is best taken in split doses. And in cancer, oftentimes the patients can take as much as 10 grams, 3, 4, 5 times a day. If you're healthy, that usually would cause diarrhea. So we'd work that dose up, take as much vitamin C as you can. This is well tolerated. The side effects, they're just not there other than the bowel tolerance. Vitamin D, 5,000 to 7,000 units every day. The medicinal mushrooms, for its beta-glucan content, helps to protect from radiation side effects, activates the immune system, improves immune function. I also want to give you a tube of therapeutic skin cream. This has noni and beta-glucan in it. Apply it to the skin wherever that radiation is going to go. It helps to protect the skin from burns. I want to send you Beating Cancer with Nutrition and Foundations for Healing. Your care package is on its way. It'll also include a good multiple vitamin. Do the best you can with these supplements. Oftentimes it's hard to hold foods in, of course, because we're nauseous and whatnot with cancer therapy, but we do the best we can. Also, time is short. We have a call from Ruth, who is having trouble with a sore mouth. She says she's in good health, but she's concerned the mouth is always sore. Well, a couple things come to mind quickly. Medicines can do funny things. You may have taken a medicine for many, many years with no problem, and all of a sudden you're getting side effects. Medications can make your mouth very sore. Keep that in mind. Next thing, the B vitamins. When we're low in B vitamins, the classic stomatitis, sore mouth, this is really common with B12 deficiency, riboflavin deficiency, any of the B vitamins. So a sublingual B12 and a B complex can help the sore mouth remarkably. Also, don't forget zinc and a multiple vitamin. Zinc deficiencies can cause a sore mouth. It's the kind of thing where just a slight trauma to your gums or cheek causes an ulcer for days. Nutrient therapies work. And don't forget to look closely at your medicines, because medicine can cause any type of side effect you can imagine, including the sore mouth. I think that's going to help Ruth. And I'm sorry I had to rush it, but now Ruth has her help as well. Well, interesting today. It's kind of Cancer Day on Callers. We'll spend as much time as it takes helping you with your cancer quest. See you tomorrow, folks. Bye-bye.
Are you sick? Don't you dare sneeze on me. Do you know how far your germs can travel? Normally you hold about half a liter of fluid in your lungs. So when you sneeze, you're able to spray as much as a water bottle's worth of mucus into the air around you. It shoots out of your mouth in the form of moist, germ-infested clouds, traveling up to 35 meters per second. That's fast enough to give you a speeding ticket on the highway. Once that cloud hits the air, it expands, breaking up into snotty strings, then a series of different-sized droplets, all trapped in a turbulent gas cloud. One brave group at MIT discovered that the biggest droplets can travel up to 2 meters, about the distance between your desk and 2 desks away. But most other droplets? Those travel much farther, up to 8 meters. That's about 5 desks away. Not only that, the germ-infested gas cloud is less dense than the air around it, so it rises upwards, right to where ventilation systems and other people's unsuspecting noses and mouths await. Even though these are relatively smaller droplets, they're probably still teeming with harmful pathogens, like the flu virus. Even worse, depending on the ventilation, they can spread through a room in just a few seconds, and remain suspended for up to 10 minutes. Now, if you happen to notice someone around you sneeze or cough, you can hold your breath as you move out of range. But during the flu season, that might not even be enough, because there are danger zones everywhere, especially on surfaces like desks, doorknobs, and steel handrails. It turns out the flu virus has been found to survive for 24 hours on a steel surface. And if you touch that surface and don't wash your hands before eating, you may have just gotten infected. So let's say you go into work sick with the flu one day, and you start to sneeze. Now, according to one study, you'll probably only infect 1 to 2 other people. You're clearly showing symptoms of the flu. However, it's going to take a few days for symptoms to show up in other people you've infected. So those poor souls unknowingly also come into work sick over the next few days. And they will potentially infect 1 to 2 more people. In an office of 100 desks, this could mean 10 or 15 sick people by the end of 2 weeks. That's over 10% of the office. And all of it started with just one sick person. You. All thanks to the germ-laden cloud you so generously shared. So the next time you're not feeling great and you're sneezing up a storm, just think about your poor coworkers and take a sick day for yourself and for them.
How powerful is Jesus? In Luke 7:2-9, it says, "Now a centurion had a servant who was sick and at the point of death, who was highly valued by him. When the centurion heard about Jesus, he sent to him elders of the Jews, asking him to come and heal his servant. And when they came to Jesus, they pleaded with him earnestly, saying, 'He is worthy to have you do this for him, for he loves our nation, and he is the one who built us our synagogue.' And Jesus went with them. When he was not far from the house, the centurion sent friends, saying to him, 'Lord, do not trouble yourself, for I am not worthy to have you come under my roof. Therefore I did not presume to come to you. But say the word, and let my servant be healed. For I too am a man set under authority, with soldiers under me. And I say to one, Go, and he goes, and to another, Come, and he comes, and to my servant, Do this, and he does it.' When Jesus heard these things, he marveled at him.